All right, welcome to our latest Swampcast. This one's going to be a little bit different. Robbie and I are going to kind of wrap up the regular season, which of course ended a couple of weeks ago, and we know where Florida's going for a bowl. And we'll try to do one from down in down at Fort Lauderdale. Actually, we won't be in.
We'll never be in Miami.
We'll never be in Miami.
The Orange Bowl isn't in Miami.
No,
anymore.
it isn't. Our hotel isn't, but we're fine with that.
We're by the beach.
Yes. Well, not really.
No.
Last time we were by the beach.
We were by the beach.
We're not as close, but I know you guys really feel for that. What we're going to do is we're going to give you 3 episodes of wrapping up the season, basically talking about different things that happened. And we're going to start off with, we're actually going to have 6 items on each one of these, just to kind of give you guys something to watch over the weekend. And with obviously there's not much football on.
No.
Unless you're into
Army Navy.
Army Navy is a great game.
It'll be a good one this year, though.
Yeah, it should be fun. All right, so here we go. We're going to start out with number 1. The game of the year for Florida. I'll let you go first, Robbie.
Well, to me, Pat, it has to be the Auburn game. It's a top 10 team coming into the Swamp. It was a kind of we're back moment for the Gators and the Swamp.
And game day was here.
Yeah, game day was here. Hadn't been, so to me, that was clearly the biggest game of the year. And Florida played great. The defense played great. And it showed the country what Mullen was doing with this team and this program. And to me, that was a huge game.
Absolutely. And it was, for me, the game of the year, too. However, I will say this, if you're just looking at it totally unbiased, Florida LSU was a bigger game.
Yeah, it was.
And the atmosphere was incredible.
Because the Auburn game made it bigger.
It made it bigger, so. Yeah, that's true. But obviously for Gator fans, it's almost like you get one of these a year. You get the LSU game last year, this year you get the Auburn game. But I will say this, that Miami game was huge. Now, nobody liked the way Florida played in that game.
No.
But winning that game kind of set the tone for the rest of the year.
But like you said in the summer, Pat, that was the game. If you didn't start off good with all the preseason hype, then where are you going?
There's no telling where.
So they had to win that game.
The season would have gone. But yeah, but I'm still saying Auburn. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a fool.
Not all the time.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Player of the Year for the Mighty Gators.
Me?
Yeah.
It has to be Trask, Pat. I mean, before the year, we didn't even think he'd be playing, only in mop-up because Felipe finished the end of the year so good, and that was one of the reasons they were ranked so high in the preseason. For him to come in and do the things he did, put up the numbers he did, unbelievable.
Yeah, the only guy you could even make an argument would be Grenard.
Yeah.
Who you saw when he wasn't healthy, that defense wasn't that great, and when he was healthy, they were elite.
He was a dominant player, Pat. I mean, he's all SEC by everybody's thing. I think he's going to be a high draft pick, but the thing with me, the Trask thing, the fact that he came in and let him back in that Kentucky game, right away the offense looked different with him operating, with him making the reads, going to the right guy, getting the ball out of there. The whole offense was different when he went in.
And here's the thing. I'll never forget this. Robbie and I are sitting there. We see what's happened to Felipe, and it's clear he ain't coming back.
No, he was done.
And he may be done for the year. Especially when they carted him off, and we kind of turned to each other and go, "Who's he putting in?"
I know, but we didn't know because Emory.
Well, not only that, but they had the ball. Kentucky had the ball, so we had a lot of time to talk about who are they going to put in. Is it going to be Trask or Emory?
And we wondered because Kentucky was putting heat on Franks. You'd think maybe Jones would get the call, but.
And the irony of it is they had a plan to play them both, and then Kyle got hot, and the rest is history. All right, Play of the Year for you, Robbie.
Play of the year, I'd say the P run, 88-yard run against Auburn. It was just a huge moment in the game, and it was like, okay, Florida's going to win this game now, to me.
Yeah, well, that was an unbelievable moment, especially if you saw the video. I think it was Olivia from over at UF. I think she's at UF.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But that was an awesome video of the Auburn.
Unbelievable, where the crowd's loud, and the crowd gets louder.
And then just
crowd
crazy.
Goes nuts, and that was an unbelievable play. But I will tell you the play that I'm going to remember forever. From this year, and that was the pitch by Kyle Trask to Pirine for that touchdown.
Huge.
I mean, we're watching that game, and we're like, we're writing the story where they've lost the game because we're on deadline, and I'm watching that game, and I'm like, they might win. I better stop right.
Yeah, and it wasn't a typical pitch. It was like a playmaker's pitch. Anything to get the ball to the guy and to get him a touchdown.
It was kind of like when they do those Dr. Pepper's things.
Yeah, it was like that. But it just shows you how savvy the guy is for somebody who hadn't played.
And that's a play, and everybody always asks me, could they have done this with Felipe? Could have done that? That's a play Felipe could not make.
No, that doesn't happen.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that could.
He either doesn't make the pitch or I don't know what happens if he's.
And that really that was where you went, uh-oh, and they built confidence off of that. All right, surprise player of the year for you, Robbie.
To me, it's got to be Trask, Pat, because like I said, we didn't think he'd be playing this year. And to come in ready and to bring Florida back in that Kentucky game, and he just came in, he was ready to play. He did a great job running the offense, and he turned the season around for him, to me.
Now, on the 14th, you're going to send him a Valentine? I mean, this is all
Maybe.
Trask for you.
Yeah. What about you?
I am going.
Oh, you're sending one to Spurrier.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's another story.
I am going with Sean Davis because I didn't think Sean Davis could play the way
Man.
he did. Then he got hurt, obviously, later, and he wasn't quite the same player the second part of the year. But early in that season, he was a dominant safety. He was, now look, he wasn't Reggie Nelson, but he was playing kind of at that level for a while. And that one-handed pick, I'll never forget that play.
Yeah, and he's a Terminator, Pat. The guy, he's got to be the hardest hitter on the team. I mean, he drills people, and that's what you want your safety. You want to intimidate. He intimidates.
And they haven't had that really for a while.
No.
So that's a guy who's, and I didn't know he had it in him.
And he can run.
And he can run. All right. Award. We're going to give an award out. They give a Broyles Award out for the Assistant Coach of the Year in college football. We're going to do it for Florida. And Robbie, who would you give it to?
I'm going to go with Billy Gonzalez, Pat, because everybody talked about all the talent they had at receiver. But to get them all to buy in, to share the playing time and the receptions, he did a great job. And that room was really together throughout the year and unselfish. And that goes to the coach.
And as talented as they are, if they're not doing all the little things, all the right things. And I also, I agree with part of that, Robbie, too, is that with, they talked all the time about they didn't care who started.
No, it didn't matter. No.
And I think that was a heck of a job.
Yeah, if you have one or two bad attitudes among all those guys, then it doesn't play out the way it did.
And sometimes it works out when you do have a guy with a bad attitude like it did in 06 and 2008.
Yeah, true.
07 to 08.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything. All right, I'm going to go with Brian Johnson, and here's why. That quarterback situation, I know Dan Mullen gets the credit for all the offense, and that's fine. But Brian Johnson had to have Kyle Trask ready to play. And we saw it, and then they talked about afterwards that Kyle there was never doubt. He was ready to play. It's easy to say, well, you got to be ready to play if you're the backup. I've seen backups going to games and just were awful.
Yeah, they look like they haven't practiced in a month or two.
And they haven't. They aren't invested in the game.
Yeah, it's obvious he's a great quarterback coach, Pat. And he had Emory ready to play when it was time for him to come in. So
he did, absolutely. So
you don't see an unprepared quarterback coming from this guy.
People are seeing my writings down here.
Hieroglyphics.
This is the number of points that Virginia's given up in the second half of the season average. So that'll be coming someday.
If Florida gets the average, they'll win the game.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Finally, this is the last one of Episode 1, Revenge of the Jedi. Florida's best win other than Auburn.
To me, Pat, it's FSU because we had talked about how if they don't win that game, it kind of ruins the season, stalls the momentum going to the bowl game. So to me, it got them into a New Year's Six bowl game, and they beat their arch rival 2 times in a row by lopsided scores. To me, that was big.
Well, I'm going Miami for the obvious reason that I talked about in the preseason. I felt like Miami was the biggest game of the year for Florida, and that if they didn't win that game, they were going to ruin all the momentum that they'd built up. And don't forget, this program was leaking oil a little bit in the summer.
It was.
Guys were leaving. Guys were getting in trouble. They certainly weren't a program that kind of went in with the same momentum that they came out of 2018 with.
Yeah, they were clearly losing. They lost momentum over the summer, and to get it back, they had to win that game,
and look,
no matter how bad it looked.
They played bad. I know that. Everybody was mad at Felipe and everything, but they won the game, and now we look back and go, and Miami's no good. We all get that. But that Miami team was ready to play, and now here they are sitting here state champs. So you can't win the state championship if you don't win.
Got to win the first one.
All right. That's going to do it for Episode 1. We will come back with another episode, so make sure you click on tomorrow or tonight or the next day. Depends on when you're clicking on the first time.
Ignore the fact that we have the same clothes on, too.
Yes, we will. We will not. This won't be like the match game. Remember, they would go change. They'd film 5 episodes in one day, and then they'd all change clothes in between episodes. But we're not going to do that. But we will be back with Episode 2. Thanks so much to Brad McClenny for doing this, and we appreciate you guys. So long from the Sunshine State.